And welcome to another episode of Out and About with Trev. I know it's been a while, and I apologise for that. But as I mentioned in the last episode, I was having some issues with my editing software. Things haven't been going too bad. Had some issues here at the house. I'll get into that a bit later on. Also, you might be looking at this and wondering, "Ooh, training, what's he training for?" Well, I'll get onto that in a bit later as well. So I just want to go back through, like I say, it's been about 4 or 5 months since my last episode, and and that was when I just wanted to talk about getting my car on the road. It was a massive project. Took a lot longer than I expected. It was also difficult because, it was during the pandemic, and we're still not really over it. I think the world's taken a long time to get over. 2020, 2021, and 2022 has been a little bit tricky as well. So, but there you go. The car's still running great. I've done some great trips with it. I've had it on the road about 18 months. I've probably done about 20,000 Ks. So I've done 18,000 Ks at the end of 12 months, and I've done a couple of big trips since. So yeah, probably about 20,000 Ks. No real problems. I detailed a couple of issues I was having with the condenser, or the condenser hose out of the air conditioner that was flooding the floor on the back seat. At the moment the air conditioner's not working. It needs to be regassed, but that's a little problem. In the previous episode, I also mentioned I was planning on doing a big drive. I was going up to Swan Hill, and I was going to put a jerry can in the back seat and see just what sort of kilometres I could get out of a full tank. That went way better than I expected. I was hoping for something, 600 Ks. I would have been happy. I actually tapped out in Bendigo at 674 Ks. So I think if I'd been out in the open road, I would have got 680. But there we go. So that was pretty good. Not at about the same time, I was starting to plan some upcoming bushwalks. I was starting to do some day walks, and I was doing some hikes. I was actually hiking from home out to Mount Cooper. It was a nice walk, about 8 Ks round trip, but it was on footpaths, and that was slap, slap, slap. I've got heel spurs, and they didn't like that at all, so that was a problem. And then I decided to do a hike into the city, down the bike paths. I actually parked at Reservoir Station and headed off into the city, and I blew my knee out. And the GPS data was amazing. I'd recently got a new GPS. I got a Garmin eTrex 32X, which you're going to see featured on future bushwalks and hikes and things like that. And the GPS data is pretty telling. I was absolutely flooring it. I was doing 6.8 kilometers an hour, which is ridiculous because I normally hike at 4.5 to 5. So that was a problem, but I really did damage to it. Not actually able to tell you what I did to it because I wasn't ever able to find out. And it's a bit of a limitations of the health system here in Victoria. It's pretty good, don't get me wrong, and certainly all the nurses and doctors and paramedics and everyone involved in the last 2 years with the pandemic have done an amazing job of working with, I'm sure they've been resource poor, time poor, energy poor, but they've done an amazing job. And I think there's literally thousands of people here in Victoria who wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for the unbelievable work they do. But they can only work under the rules and policies that are imposed by the authorities. And when I'd done my knee, I went to my doctor and I said, "Look, my knee's shot. I've had knee issues before. And I mentioned, can we get an MRI, which is the thing you get to see exactly what's gone wrong." And unfortunately, here in Victoria, the way it sits at the moment is, back in 2018, they made this decision that once you turn 50, you can get an MRI, all right, but you've got to pay for it. Whereas under the current system, especially if you're on a tight budget, you can get x-rays and blood tests and various other things done But once you turn 50, you got to pay for your MRI, which I find to be ridiculous. I think it's hypocritical of the government. They want us to be active. They want us to be out there doing things. Well, people are going to get injured, and I think it's crazy that you know, from a 49-year-old, you don't have to pay anything. A 50-year-old, you probably got to fork out about $1,000. So I don't know what I did. What I did do though was I went on a fairly long journey of rehabilitation. It's taken months. I bought myself a recumbent exercise bike, and initially I was just, with no pressure, no tension, I was just going through the motions, just pedaling a couple of Ks every couple of days, and that got the knee going. I then started out going geocaching. I've mentioned about geocaching in the past, and if you want to know more about it, here's a website to go to. I could drive out to a spot, hop out of the car, walk a couple hundred meters, come back, and that was really helpful as well. Not with a pack on, just walking. That was nice. At the same time, I was starting to see podiatrist, and she got me some inserts for my boots that are specially moulded to match my feet, and they make a difference. And then I was looking for places to go geocaching, and I was out bouncing around, starting to feel pretty good. I decided to go and try and do a snow trip to Mount Bogong, and I only made it a couple of K up the track, and I knew the knee wasn't right. Alright, well, this is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but my left knee, which was injured a few months ago, is still not right, and I'm actually walking back to the car because it's just not right. So I don't want to take chances, and many people say, oh, just keep going, but I don't want to have to get people to come and help me back down. So I've decided, like I said, just to pull the pin. This trip, as much as I was looking forward to getting up on Bogong, really what it was about, one of the overriding priorities was to not obliterate my knee. So it's sort of halfway there, so it's probably a good point to stop. So I'm actually just walking down the track. Here's the track I'm walking on. It's not too bad. Not walking very fast either, I can tell you. Straight after that, I come back from that, and I knew that things weren't right. More time on the exercise bike, more time going geocaching. And what that led to was actually this. I was looking at places where I could go geocaching, where I could maybe do some slightly longer walks, and I ended up at Plenty Gorge Park. And if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful part of the world. This is what it looks like out there. It's absolutely amazing. So here's the thing about geocaching. It's got absolutely nothing really to do about the cache. So there's a cache there in a sock. You can see there's the container lid. You pull it out, and then you can get, whoops, and then you can nearly fell over. Here we go. We've got a mountain biker coming through. So that's another thing that can happen out here. You get people walking, riding bikes, etc. Anyway, like I said, it's really got nothing to do with the boxes. People think it's just all about the box. You go there, you sign the logbook. What it is, it's about the location. Now, I might have come out here for a nice walk and walk around the walking tracks and what have you. Who knows what I might have done. But I specifically came to this spot because there's a geocache here. And it's brought me to this amazing little spot, as you can see. Look, this is, you know, like I say, just north of Melbourne. It's 20 minutes from about 20 minutes, under half an hour from where I live, depending on traffic. It's, you know, it's about, I mean, kilometre wise, I think when I left home, I think it said it was about 16, 17 kilometres of driving. So that's about it. So not very far. And look, I'm out here. This is what a spot, you know. And yeah, that's part of why I like going out geocaching. It's not about how many I find or necessarily, you know, I like to set a target. The reason I set a target is because I want to go out and do a decent walk. And people will know that I've been recovering, or my mum will know that I haven't done much. I haven't done a hike since, a proper bushwalk, since the end of 2019 when I did my 9-day trek. Ended up hiking in snow and doing creek crossings and everything. Then we had 2 years of COVID and lockdowns and what have you. And I think one of the things, I think I underestimated just how those 2 years had compromised me in terms of fitness, you know, the muscles in the legs and what have you. And when I started going out there, immediately I had to start having problems with my knee, and then I had problems with my, I got heel spurs, and they were driving me nuts. And I've been through a fairly long process of doing some gentle exercise, a bit of rehab, strapping my heels, getting some inserts for my boots that can help, doing some exercises. And with all of those things, it all means that today I'm coming out, I'm feeling great. The knee's feeling great, the heel spurs aren't bothering me. I've got my proper hiking boots on, not just you know, whatever pair of shoes I could bother grabbing. I think that was a mistake I made in the past too. I'd go out on walks and I didn't wear my proper hiking boots. So today it's all happening, and you may be wondering, you know, do I still have plans to hike the Australian Alps walking track? And it'd be easy for me to say no, but the thing burns in me, and I've done a lot of preparation. I've got all the maps, and next year is going to be all about trying to make some money. If I can make enough money and you know, get a decent amount banked. I don't exactly know how much I need, but it's in the vicinity of $5,000, $6,000, maybe $7,000, and then hopefully for 2024 it'll give it a crack. So at the moment, what I've been focused on, especially over the last few months, is just getting the knee right, looking after my heel spurs, and just gently increasing my fitness. And like I say, today, I don't know how much I've done. Probably, I don't know, I've only probably done 1.5 K or something, but it's been up and down. But everything's working nice, and that's what I want. So I do have plans for another bushwalk. I had planned to do Lake Tarli Khan at the end of next month, but with all the floods and everything, I mean, it's got 16 river crossings normally. I don't need to be going swimming with a full pack on, so I don't know. Well, I'm going to do something over summer, but I've got a new backpack which is lighter. I've got a new sleeping bag recently which is lighter, so I'm looking forward to getting out there. But today it's all about just going out with a bit of a day pack and just making sure that everything's working. And like I say, the knee and the heels are feeling great. I found 4 geocaches so far, so now it's on to number 5. And before I do that, I probably should say I found this one. Well, it's been a good afternoon. I don't know how many Ks I've actually hiked, but I'm pretty sure I've lost count, but I think this is about me 7th or 8th geocache that I found today. Sort of starting to get dark, or heading towards that sort of time, so I think I've got to go up here and then across there. I think the car's sort of up over there, but it's only about 600-700 metres away, so not too bad. Yeah, it's just awesome to be out here. It's the fact that it's only like 20 minutes from where I live in Reservoir is quite unbelievable, and I'll certainly be back here again. One of the coolest feelings when you're out bushwalking, hiking, whatever, is when you get to your destination at the end of the day. Whether it be a campsite, hut, or maybe it's not even the end of the day, it might just be a lunch stop. But I'm at the end of my trip, and through the trees, there's my Subi. So, I think I got, I'm not sure, I lost count. I think I got 8 geocaches. Just step over the fence. Yeah, yeah, I think I've got 8. The GPS will tell me when I have a look at the calendar. One of the awesome features on the Garmin eTrex 32X, amongst its array of awesome features, is that whenever you mark a waypoint or you find a geocache, it'll stamp it in the calendar, and then therefore it's easy to say, okay, look back last Saturday, you know, whatever date, what exactly did I do? And you can see, oh, you found 5 geocaches, you know, you might have marked a couple of points. Makes it really handy just to see what you've done and where you're at. But right now I'm at my car, and that's awesome. It's almost dark, probably timed it perfect, I reckon. I ummed and ahed about going for the last geocache, because I thought, oh, I don't want to be out here in the dark. One of the things I've made a mistake on is I realised that my headlamp isn't in the day pack where it should be. It's actually sitting on my desk in my office somewhere, so it's got to make its way into the pack. So I was a little concerned that I really didn't have much light available. I've got a light on the camera, believe it or not, and I've also got a light on the phone, so I could have, you know, I wasn't completely going to be in the dark. But anyway, like I say, Plenty Gorge, it's absolutely awesome out here. Well, I won't be crossing this river today, I don't think. There we go, there's the old bridge. And the problem was, there's only so many geocaches out there, and after a few days of going out there, spread over a couple of weeks, I'd found all the geocaches. But I ended up looking at the GPS tracks, and again, my GPS you know, tracks where I go, and I can download that to some mapping software. And I started looking, and I thought, well, if I join that track and go down there and I go around there, I can do a loop. And it's about an 8k loop, and this is what this is all about. This is the data from the recent hikes I've been doing out there with a day pack on. My day pack weighs about 10 kilos. I'll just grab it. So here's my day pack. As you can see, it's got a bit of weight to it. It's goes on like this. So I'm not. There we go. It's got a. Oh, that's the side with the tripod. This side's got. I don't know. I can't get there. But so I'm carrying a bit of weight. I did that trip with a mate. We did the first one. We did. I know. Well, I can look up here. We did 7.8 kilometres, and the great thing I found was that walking on the tracks instead of walking on a footpath, my feet didn't feel it as bad, my knee didn't feel it as bad, and I'm just loving it out there. And I've been going back at least twice a week to just try and get fit and get ready for another hike. I'm also recently back from a big trip. I had to go to Geelong for a conference, and I decided to dive down to Apollo Bay. I've been wanting to get some information about the Great Ocean Walk, and I wanted to go and check out some of the campsites and some of the places where I could hopefully put food and water drops, and just to make it easier for myself. It's a 100k walk over 8 days, so it's something. And so I'm just back from that. That was a big drive. That's the longest drive I've done in the car. I did 1172 k's, not a problem. Found a heap of geocaches. So I was out there bouncing around, finding geocaches left, right, and centre. There's one road, for instance. There's a road. It's 1.5 kilometres long, and there's 13 geocaches. And I went and found all them. So that was pretty cool. Found out the information I wanted about the Great Ocean Walk. You have to pay for the campsites, which is a bit of a thing. Although at least they're trying to be, you know, I went to the info centre, got great information. I then went to the Grampians, and a whole different operation up there. I'm not sure what's going on with parks up there. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on, because with the Great Ocean Walk, I can buy one map, double-sided, shows everything I need, $14. or 15 bucks, 14.95. I went to the Grampians. They've got a new walk that they've released. It's 164 k's over 13 days or something, and you have to pay $45 per night for the campsites. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's a little bit exy. I mean, you go to a caravan park, you pay 50 bucks a night, but at least you've got a nice hot shower and a community room where you can watch TV and what have you. 45 bucks for a bush camp that might have a toilet and maybe a water tank to get some water from. I don't know. I'm not going to... It's called the Grampian Peaks Trail, and I won't be doing it in a hurry. I will be going to do the Great Ocean Walk, but a bit on that later. So yeah, so I'm just back from that trip, and I've been going out to Plenty. My legs are feeling stronger, and I'm going to put it into practice in a couple of weeks. I'm going to Mount Bogong, and I know I had my failed snow hike, but this will be different. My pack's going to be lighter because I won't be carrying all the snow gear. I've also got my new sleeping bag and the new pack. My new pack is 1 kilo and a bit lighter than my old pack. My sleeping bag is 1 kilo and a bit lighter than my old pack and my old sleeping bag, and it packs down to 1/3 of the size. It's absolutely nuts. I've tested it in the snow. In my previous episode, I talked about I wanted to go up for a snow trip and get some photos of my Subi in the snow. I did that. I also tested the sleeping bag. The sleeping bag's rated to -5. I camped, it was -4. I was nice and warm. Brilliant, so that worked. My new GPS is working great, and I'm working towards doing some fairly serious hikes. Now I've got the car out of the way, and it's just working. I can focus on some other things, and I really agonised over the last couple of months as to whether I was even going to bother putting any more episodes up. I wasn't sure what to do with it, and then I had a look through, and there are videos there that have had hundreds of views, so people are having a look. I don't get any money from it. It's not monetized at the moment. That's something that maybe I'll look at later. I don't understand what to do. A lot of YouTubers have Patreon accounts, and they offer things, advanced videos and behind the scenes and stuff. I don't know what to do with that, so I'm not savvy enough to work to work on that end. So I'm not really sure what to do with that. But what happened was I was talking to some frontline workers who deal with homeless people on the street and the frustrations of the lack of housing, and they asked me why I'd stopped doing my YouTube channel, and I was a bit surprised because I wasn't sure that these were the types of people that would be tuning into my video. But they said, oh, that was great. Every few weeks we'd watch a new episode. You're working on your car, and we watched that, and I thought, if one person gets something out of the videos, then it's worth me putting them together, and I've got all the gear, so and I've got an exciting story, and the next 18 months to 2 years are going to be pretty cool. I've got, like I say, I'm going to Bogong in a couple of weeks. I wanted to go and do Lake Tarli Khan, but it's got 16 river crossings, and at the moment all the rivers are up, so it's probably a little bit tricky to deal with at the moment. Maybe later it'll be better. And I want to go do the Great Ocean Walk, so that's going to be great. But really, this training, and now that I'm over my knee injury and I've got my feet sorted out with my heel spurs, what's the ultimate goal? You might be thinking, where's he going with this? It's not just to do the Great Ocean Walk, and it's not. I've mentioned before that I've got dreams of doing the Australian Alps walking track, and this thing burns in me. It really does. It's funny when I'm up in the mountains and I think, geez, just over there, that's where it goes. And, I look at the maps and I don't know, like I say, it burns in me. So I'm going to have a serious crack. I'm really going to have a serious crack at getting it done. Next year I've got to earn some money. It's going to cost a bit to do. I've also got to do things like, cover things like, I've got to pay my rent while I'm away and things like that. So, so that's going to be a journey, and but that's the ultimate plan. Is in 2024 I'm going to I'm going to hike the Australian Alps walking track. It won't be the last hike I do, but it'll probably be the biggest. So, although I probably shouldn't even say that because who knows. But that's what I'm working towards, and there's lots and lots and lots that I've still got to sort out. I still don't have all my food sorted out. I don't know what I'll be eating day to day. It's going to be, I've got a lot of the menu sorted. I know where I'm going to put the food drops. I know where I'm going to put water and things like that. I've got that all mapped out. I've got most of the 99% of the equipment. I just bought a new water purifier kit, and it's a gravity fed thing, so I don't have to put much effort into it. I thought after you do a hard day's walk, the last thing you want to be doing is having to scrunch something and put effort in to get water. I thought, no, I'll just fill up the bag with whatever water and let it filter, and you know, if I've got to leave it for 20 minutes and come back and then have a drink, well, I can do that. But there's lots to organise. I'm going to try and feature a lot of it. I'm going to feature the hikes, but I thought I'd just do a bit of an update of where I'm at, where the car's at, what trips are coming, and for the moment, it's all about these training hikes out at Plenty Gorge Park. It's an absolutely beautiful part of the world. It's only 20 minutes away by car, and you know, another reason why having the car is important, and I'm making the most of it. Well, here I am out at Plenty Gorge Park once again, and I'm actually doing the circle route and the tracks are really good, and I'm going up this one up down there, but when I come back a bit later I'll come down this track here and then go back there, back to the car park. So when I get back here, probably in about 2.5 hours, yeah, so this is really good. So as you can see, there's lots of tracks. Haven't been up that one, haven't been up that one, not sure where that one goes. So like I say, there are tracks everywhere already, but not actually sure what the weather's going to do. It's a bit cloudy, as you can see. Who knows? Prepared for everything. I've got Gore-Tex jacket, waterproof pants in the backpack. We've got a saying in bushwalking that there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad equipment. So there's that. I'd be quite happy to not be walking in rain today, but you know, whatever. My only real concern about the tracks and trails out here when it becomes wet is that, as you can see, they're pretty smooth. That's mainly because well, these are also bike riding tracks, so you get the guys on the mountain bikes out here, and the thing about the bikes is that they smooth over the ups and downs, so I would assume this would get pretty slippery. But anyway, at the moment it's not raining. There's plenty of people out here, so I'm sure I'll see some other people out here. Most of them will be on bikes. I'm not sure many people actually come out here walking that much, to be honest, but on the other side of the river I've seen people, so when they finally rebuild the bridge, it'll be interesting to go over that side and explore. I'm also thinking that when they rebuild the bridges, well, there goes the GPS telling me I've arrived at a point. When they do rebuild the bridges, I think there'll be a car park over the other side I can park at and then walk over to here and do the loop and finish it back there. That might mean I don't have to drive quite so far. Not that it's a big drive anyway, but anyway, here we go. This is what's happening today. It's not too bad. So this bit here where I am right now, as you can see, the track's a little bit sort of damp. It's not wet, but it's just damp. And I've got to tell you that my heel spurs just love it. With the inserts in my boots and just cruise along at a nice pace, it's like, oh, this is nice. When I first came out here and I was going jerkation, there were sections I was walking along just like out through the bush like this, out on the grass. It was a little bit wetter with all the rains and everything. I've got to be honest, it felt amazing. It was like walking on marshmallows, and instantly the brain was like, oh yeah, do more of that. So yeah, so that's just a whole other reason why I like coming out here. It's all working. So I saw a bike rider a minute ago just through the trees, but they're all out here. There's a heap of them, so I'll just keep cruising along. But so that just tells me I've arrived at another point. This particular point in the GPS, I've marked it as 5 ways, for obvious reasons. Tracks everywhere. Like, you got this one, that one, that one, that one. I know maybe I should have Maybe it needs to be bigger than 5 ways. It should be 6 or 7 or 8 ways, I don't know. 5 ways will do. Well, once again down here at Plenty River in Plenty Gorge Park, and I reckon this is probably the lowest I've seen the water since I've been coming out here over the last few weeks. So not sure when they'll rebuild the bridge, but anyway, I'm looking forward to go up here and have a look at some of the tracks up here. But anyway, not today. I'll probably I mean, if I was really keen, I could probably cross it, but yeah, nah, not today. So like I said, my initial reason for coming out of here was to go geocaching. I know that there's a geocache up in here somewhere, and as you can see, looks like there's tracks, people going up through there, so it looks like some other people have been up finding the geocache, which is awesome. So I'm not the only one out here finding these things. I know that already. If you check out the geocaching website, you'll see that there's like literally millions of caches across the planet. So yeah, I'm not the only person heading out to find things. Well, that was a bit of a climb, straight up there. Yeah, that knocked me around a little bit, but oh well, that's what this is all about. Now I'm just going to go that way. Well, I might stop here for a moment. Whew. It's warming up too.
On Tuesday night. Oh, who'd you say?
Oh yeah.
Hi mate.
Yep.
I saw Trev. How? Good morning.
Morning.
Hi mate.
Hey. That's pretty cool. About 20 metres from a fox. Yeah, don't know what to say about that. Introduced species, so they threaten a lot of the native wildlife, so it's not all that good that there's one here, but anyway, there you go. It's used to get paid. You go and shoot them and they'd give you like $8 a pelt. I've got a survival knife with me, but I'm not that good. Take out a fox with a knife from 20 metres. That's that would be that's Bear Grylls type stuff, and yeah, like I say, not that good. Still though, interesting. I must be walking pretty quiet to creep up on him. Well, there we go. That's almost the end. So it's where I get to complete my big circle. I'm not sure what I've done up till now, but the GPS is saying 8.5 kilometres at a moving average of 4.3, and GPS accuracy was 3 metres there. That's pretty good. Hang on, need another hand. There we go. But GPS accuracy 4 metres. That's not bad. It's funny, when we first got the GPSs, and they had what was called selective availability. It was an error built into the system because the US military didn't want civilians having pinpoint GPS accuracy. And people may or may not know that it was actually Bill Clinton who walked into Congress, and amongst a few other things, he said, oh, whatever date, you know, we're going to turn off the selective availability and let the general public have accurate GPSs. And that's at the point where I said, you know what, I'll go buy one. And my very first GPS was a Garmin E-Trex, the original E-Trex. There was no letters after it or numbers. It was just the Garmin E-Trex. You could only get them, they were bright yellow. And I think you could only put 250 waypoints into it. And it was awesome. I mean, it was just a black and white screen, but you know, it did tracks. It didn't do many tracks. It could, I know you'd fill it up pretty quick, but this one, for instance, my Garmin 32X, I've got an SD card in it, and I've had up to about nearly 3,000 waypoints, and it's only like 35% full. So there you go. All right, I'm at the end. I just got to go around. Car park's over here, and that's it. Look, thanks for watching, and there'll be more coming in the coming weeks and months as I get ready to knock over the Australian Alps walking track in 2024. Cheers, guys.